Yes.
Mr. Mattson, don't interrupt me, please.
Mr.
Mattson, do not interrupt me, please.
I think the court is making a big mistake here.
Mr. Mattson,
I've never signed anything for
Mr.
the court.
Mattson, if you don't stop talking, I'm going to your device.
Well, I didn't want
Mr.
Mr.
Mattson,
Daly
stop
as my
talking.
attorney. I'm a living flesh and blood man. They're trying to sentence an all caps name. It's not me. I'm a living flesh and blood man. You're after a fictional person.
This so-called sovereign citizen ended up facing one of the most unreasonable judges I've ever witnessed. The judge refused to tolerate any of his behavior whatsoever, even though the man would not stop talking the entire time. It turned into one of the most frustrating clashes between a sovereign citizen and an exceptionally tough, no-nonsense judge that I've ever seen. Share your thoughts in the comments about what you think this person's IQ might be, because honestly, it doesn't seem very high. Anyway, let's get into it and see how the judge ultimately responds with a very strict sentence.
The only one I've ever taken an oath to is God Almighty himself. There's only one lawgiver, one creator, one judge. That's God Almighty. That's who I recognize.
And sir, you are Robert Joseph Mattson, correct?
Well, I'm a living flesh and blood man, attorney for a public officer or statutory citizen judge. I'm a living flesh and blood man.
All right. You are the living flesh and blood man who's known as Robert Mattson, correct?
Attorney for Robert Joseph Mattson, which would be the all caps name. Judge, there was something that I was trying to talk to my attorney about. Before you let me out of the hospital, I was in the hospital or the jail. I was experiencing a lot of pain and trouble. The jail was not treating me properly. After I got out of the jail, I went to the hospital, and they hurried and rushed me to Toledo Hospital, where I almost died. Had I not been released from jail when I did, I would be dead in that county jail.
All right, Mr. Mattson, we're here for your sentencing hearing today. I'm not really able to address issues of medical treatment while at the jail.
Well, I was just saying there was something I agreed to.
Mr. Mattson, don't interrupt me, please. The medical treatment that people receive at the jail is not within my purview, and I'm not going to address that today. So,
well, I was just saying I was going to correct my.
Mr. Mattson, do not interrupt me, please. Have you had an opportunity to read and review your pre-sentence report?
I did with the secretary for Mr. Daly.
Have you had an opportunity to discuss your pre-sentence report with Mr. Daly?
I haven't had an opportunity to discuss it with him. I did with the secretary.
My secretary got a hold of him.
Mr. Daly, if you could just let me allow him to finish his answer. What were you saying, Mr. Mattson?
I did with the secretary. I talked to her over the phone and told her everything looked good. And I believe Mr. Daly was supposed to get back a hold of me. I don't know if he got too busy or something else happened.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mattson. Mr. Daly, you wanted to say something on that issue.
Yes, sir. My secretary contacted him in regards to the PSI. He said everything was right. He had no complaints about anything. I still tried to contact him back, didn't get an answer.
All right. So what we'll do is have, if Mr. Daly, if you'd be willing to step out into the hallway, we have an iPad out there that we can log into the Zoom session.
But I don't think he needs that. He's ready to be sentenced, Your Honor. You have any other questions, Mr. Mattson?
Yeah, Judge, I think the court is making a big mistake here.
Oh yes, clearly the court is the one making a massive mistake here, certainly not him or anything like that. From my perspective, it honestly seems like he should just remain in a psychiatric facility and keep debating with a wall, since that appears to be what he does best. Seriously, how is making a threatening remark toward a judge right before sentencing supposed to improve your situation? I mean, it sounded somewhat like a threat, though I'm not entirely sure I'd fully label it that way. Let me know in the comments what you all think. But if he truly believed that approach would win the judge over, he may be even more detached from reality than we initially assumed. At this stage, I'm half expecting him to pull out a tinfoil hat and start going on about government mind control.
I've not.
I appreciate that, Mr. Mattson. And we've discussed it.
Any of my rights or immunities. I'm not a statutory citizen. I am sovereign. I'm not somebody who's under the
Mr. Mattson,
jurisdiction. I've never signed anything for
Mr.
the court.
Mattson, if you don't
in the
stop talking,
contract.
I'm going to mute your device. Okay? I've discussed all of these issues with you before.
Okay.
And
Well, I object, but I mean,
Mr.
you're going to
Mattson,
sentence me. That's what you're
all
doing.
right. I've muted Mr. Mattson's device because he won't stop interrupting me. Mr. Mattson, what I'm trying to tell you is that we have discussed these issues before. You've raised those issues. I've ruled against those issues. And ultimately, you pled guilty of your own choice to the controlled substance, possession of narcotic less than 25 grams. And so I'm going to sentence you on that charge today. If you'd like, I will have Mr. Daly step into the hall and you can have a breakout session with him so you can speak with him about your pre-sentence investigation report. If you have questions or things that you want to talk with him about regarding that report. So I'm going to unmute your device now, and I want you to tell me whether you want a breakout session with Mr. Daly or not.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now. You want a breakout session with Mr. Daly?
Well, I've tried to talk to Mr. Daly before. I mean,
Mr.
about this.
Mattson,
And,
answer my question. Do you
yes,
want
sir.
a breakout session with Mr. Daly or not?
Your Honor, you're going to do what you're going to do. I mean, I've tried to talk to the courts and reason with the courts. I mean, if you're going to sentence me today, then I just file for an appeal. I'm an objection to anything that happens today. I was under duress when I took the plea due to my life was at stake.
Mr. Mattson, please answer my question. Do you want a breakout session with Mr. Daly or not?
Mr. Daly hasn't been much of help for me, Your Honor. So I mean,
that is not an answer to my question, Mr. Mattson. Please answer the question. You want a breakout session with him or not?
Sorry, Your Honor. It just ain't been doing me any help, no justice at all. I mean, I've already said what I had to say. If the courts is going to sentence me today, then that's what they're going to do. I don't agree with anything that's going on today. I'm sorry. It's just my life was at stake when I had talked to the courts.
All right, Mr. Mattson, please stop
yes,
talking. So you refuse to answer my question about whether you want a breakout session with Mr. Daly or not. The law.
Well, I didn't want
Mr.
Mr.
Mattson,
Daly
stop
as my
talking.
attorney. Yes, sir.
Is anyone else picking up Charles Manson vibes, or is that just me? I'm joking, well, sort of. But seriously, I can't stop staring at that enormous hat perched on his head, like he's planning to head to a rodeo right after court. I'm fairly certain hats aren't even permitted in a courtroom, yet naturally, this self-proclaimed sovereign citizen seems to believe the rules don't apply to him. He's checking every box, wearing a hat, constantly interrupting, and refusing to answer questions. Yes, that definitely fits the profile. I'm genuinely curious to see what unfolds when the judge ultimately hands down a significant sentence.
The record, I placed Mr. Mattson on mute again because he's continually interrupting me. Mr. Mattson, what I'm trying to explain to you is that you have the right to discuss your pre-sentence report with your attorney before the sentencing. I've asked you 4, 5, maybe 6 times now whether you want to have the opportunity for that breakout session, and you won't give me a simple yes or no answer. So what I'm going to do right now is ask Mr. Daly to step into the hallway. We'll set up that iPad. I'm going to put you in a breakout session with Mr. Daly in order to make sure that I comply with your rights to have that breakout session. So at this point, I'm going to set that up, whether you want it or not, so that we have complied with that requirement.
A few minutes later.
Judge, I just had a repeat of him from the conversation you already had. I'm prepared for sentencing.
All right, Mr. Mattson, you've now had an opportunity to discuss the pre-sentence report with Mr. Daly. Is that correct?
No, he didn't want to hear me, Your Honor. He just told me that he was here to get me sentenced. I tried to talk to him about things. I tried to talk to him before we even went to court about things that was going on with my life and me about dying, and as far as being incarcerated in jail, which he didn't ever try to help me out, because if he would have did an investigation and known that I was in court and I was wrongfully put in jail. I told him I'm not a statutory citizen. I'm a constitutional citizen. I mean, he don't care to do anything to help me. All he cares about is just helping you guys out and get me sucked into the system. And it's wrong.
All right, for the record, I did provide Mr. Mattson with an opportunity with Mr. Daly in a breakout session. Mr. Mattson.
Yes, sir.
Satisfied with Mr. Daly and the advice that he's given you?
I'm not satisfied with the advice he's giving me. No, sir.
Do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or the relevancy of any of the information that's in your pre-sentence report?
The stuff that's in the pre-sentence report is directed to a statutory citizen. I'm not a statutory citizen. I'm a constitutional citizen. You cannot be a constitutional person and a statutory person at the same time, Your Honor. You have to be constitutional rights, which the court's designed to protect rights. So I was asking you, Judge, are you working as a banker or judge today? I mean, there's nothing to show that there's even is there anything to show that there's even a contract between us? I mean, is there?
This isn't a contract issue, Mr. Mattson. It's a criminal law issue.
In order for the crime to exist, Your Honor, there must be an injured party. Is there an injured party? I mean, in the constitutional rights, Share Vistas colon 481 F 945. In order for there to be a crime, there ought to be an injured party. If there's no injured party, there's no crime.
2 words, drug test. He really seems to be acting erratically, and at this point it's hardly a secret. Either he showed up under the influence, or maybe he's dealing with withdrawal after not having access to whatever he usually uses while staying at the hospital. Or perhaps I'm mistaken and he's simply unable to form a coherent sentence. Let me know in the comments whether you think he's under the influence or just completely clueless. And just to be clear, you don't need an injured party for a crime to occur. If someone is threatening a judge or resisting arrest, that still qualifies as a crime even if no one was physically harmed. That would be like claiming it's fine to rob a store as long as no one complains. Someone please explain how that logic makes sense.
All right, Mr. Mattson, you're arguing the basis of your conviction. Again, you pled guilty to this charge. What I'm asking you is whether, Mr. Mattson, what I'm asking you is whether you'd wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or the relevancy of any of the information that is in your pre-sentence report. So is any of that information inaccurate?
Inaccurate as far as the person that reports they're trying to sentence in all caps names. It's not me. I'm a living flesh and blood man. You're after a fictional person.
All right. So with respect to that argument, what the court will say is that I will leave the information that is in the pre-sentence report and deny what seems to be some kind of a request to modify the pre-sentence report based on an argument that doesn't state any cognizable legal theory about a difference between Mr. Mattson as a human being and Mr. Mattson as something else. So the pre-sentence report will stand.
Well, Your Honor, you never even explained to me what the jurisdiction was. I tried from the beginning that
Mr. Mattson,
all right. The court is.
I'm going to mute Mr. Mattson again because he continues to interrupt me with a line of argument that I don't even know what to say about it. It just is, it's not a legal argument at all. It is some kind of fanciful belief that there's a difference between Mr. Mattson, the human being, and Mr. Mattson as some other entity, which is not recognized by the law, and I'm not going to entertain it any further. The probation officers calculated the minimum sentencing guidelines in this case to be from 0 to 9 months. Do you agree with that computation of guidelines?
I do, Your Honor.
I do. Thank you. Before the court passes sentence, Mr. Daly, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Mattson?
I've had the same conversations with Mr. Mattson the courts have. He's never wanted to talk about this case. He's always wanted to talk about what he perceived are constitutional issues. He pled guilty. He knew what he was doing. I do know that. I'm prepared to complete the sentencing now.
His lawyer looks like he wants to go home more than anything. You can practically read it on his face. Just imagine being in that attorney's position right now, having some random, self-proclaimed Facebook legal expert attempt to lecture you about the law after you spent more than 7 years working through law school. Honestly, I'd probably be scanning for the nearest exit too. But fortunately for this sovereign citizen, attorneys are obligated to represent their clients and provide their best effort, regardless of the circumstances, even if the client is behaving like a living conspiracy theory video. Truly, this lawyer might deserve a long vacation and perhaps even some counseling after dealing with this situation.
All right, Mr. Matson, in a moment, I'm going to unmute your microphone and I'm going to give you an opportunity for allocution. That's an opportunity to say anything that you'd like to say on your own behalf before the court passes sentence.
Yes, sir. Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
is there anything you'd like to say on your own behalf?
You said that I can say anything that I wish before sentencing.
You can.
I'm sorry, sir.
You can.
Okay. Yeah, yes, sir. Your Honor. I mean, before I took that plea, I told Mr. Daly that I wanted to sit there. I wanted him to sit there, get the cameras for the courts to prove that I was at the court date the day that I was put in jail, and said that that I wasn't in the court for a contempt of court. He said, and I told him I wanted to fight my case, but I had to be out because I had medical issues. Mr. Daly said that's fine and all, but if you stay here and you fight this case, they'll keep you in here for a year fighting your case. You will not be let out of jail. Your Honor, I couldn't do that. I was in major pain. I would have died in that jail. My proof is within the doctor's records in the hospital. I had a serious condition which would have left me dead within a week from the time that I took the plea. The following day after I got up, my wife was killed in a car accident. Just everything's been going downhill for me ever since. And now this with the courts. I don't feel that I've had a fair chance with the courts ever since I even started with the courts, because the courts has not proven jurisdiction to me. I've not written any papers out agreeing in the contract saying that the courts can have any kind of jurisdiction over me. I have not relinquished any sovereign immunities that I have. I just don't feel like there's been anything fair, which is not going to be with the court system. I mean, I've tried to say I'm not a statutory person who is within your jurisdiction. If anything, I'd be considered constitutional, but I'm not even under the constitutional laws, but I will use them if I feel necessary as a constitutional living flesh and blood man. There is no injured party. The only injured party would be the state's laws, which the state cannot be the prosecutor, the injured party, and the judge. Nothing's right. The court case either had been dismissed or moved to a higher court. And I wasn't going to sit there and be left in jail to fight my case for a year. I would have been dead. I'd have been stupid not to sit there and just agree with a plea that I didn't even agree with in the first place, just to save my life. I don't think it's fair at all. It's not right. There's nothing but wrong here. It's injustice, not justice.
Although I do feel sympathy for him over his wife passing away in a car accident, may she rest in peace, he is still behaving terribly. Yes, he identifies as a sovereign citizen and everything, and I can admit that I feel a bit sorry for him given what he has been through. He is likely dealing with physical pain from his hospital stay and emotional exhaustion from losing his spouse, which is an incredibly difficult combination for anyone. That said, if he wants even a small amount of sympathy, he needs to regain composure and stop acting as though the law does not apply to him. You cannot rely on legal wordplay in court and expect it to work in your favor. Let me know in the comments whether you feel sympathy for him or believe he is simply making his situation worse.
You can't be a constitutional person and a statutory person at the same time. Either you're one or the other. And Wi-Fi wasn't working properly on my computer. I couldn't draw up my own paperwork. I've been in nothing but severe pain. I've been able to move around and do much of anything for myself. The only the only one I've ever taken an oath to is God Almighty Himself. There's only one lawgiver, one creator, one judge. That's God Almighty. That's who I recognize. For me to sit there and agree to anything more than that would be me sitting there violating the laws of my God.
All right. In determining the appropriate sentence in this case, the court has considered the seriousness of your offense, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, the report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what's been said on the record here this morning. The criteria and reasons for the sentence are the nature and gravity of the offense, the discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, vindication for the law, and the protection of society. As indicated, with respect to these sovereign citizen or whatever the other arguments you're making are, we've dealt with the jurisdiction issue in the past. I've ruled on that on at least one occasion, probably multiple occasions, and that ruling is not going to change. You will have appellate rights if you want to pursue those. You're welcome to do that, but you have pled
So this is the
guilty in
precise
this
moment
case.
when the sovereign citizen abruptly leaves the Zoom call to contact his Facebook group leader for supposed legal advice. Just wait until the judge notices that he's disappeared. Things are about to become very interesting.
I think under normal circumstances, that would be an adequate recommendation with he's gone.
Oh, is Robert Matson there, please? Okay, who am I speaking with? Okay. All right, thank you. This is Mike Stevenson, probation. Okay, he had sentencing this morning. He just left the sentence. Judge, I just spoke with a female at the number that he gave me, and she claims that he is at a heart doctor appointment at this time. That's what she claims.
Eventually, they managed to bring the sovereign citizen back into the Zoom call, and from that point forward, things definitely do not go in his favor. It's almost unbelievable that he claimed he had a doctor's appointment, which feels like such a predictable tactic in situations like this. He genuinely seemed to think that would serve as a convincing excuse right in the middle of the hearing.
We have everyone back with us now. Mr. Matson, we are in a court proceeding right now, and so I'm going to ask you not to eat anything and to remove your hood. All right, I'm going to ask you to remove your hood also, Mr. Matson. Thank you. Mr. Matson pled guilty to one count of controlled substance, attempted possession of cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic of less than 25 grams, pursuant to a plea agreement which dismissed one count of possession of cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic, dismissed one count of driving the license suspended, and one count of alcohol open container. So the agreement was to one count of attempted possession of a controlled substance, dismissal of the remaining charges, and that was apparently incorrect. There was no sentencing agreement in this case. This is Mr. Matson's first felony conviction. He does have 4 prior misdemeanors. Those are all from 2015 or earlier. He has 2 2015 cases and 2002 and 2001. And so the recommendation in this case from the probation officer is for a period of 1 year probation. And I think that, well, it also, I should say, includes restrictions on alcoholic beverages and substance use. And I think that those provisions of terms of probation are appropriate given Mr. Matson's Compass Needs Assessment scores. He did rate as highly probable in the categories of substance abuse, family criminality, residential instability, and social environment. He does have a substance abuse history of cocaine, fentanyl, painkillers since 2005. I think that it is appropriate to try to get Mr. Mattson some help for his substance abuse problems. The concern I have in this case is that is whether or not Mr. Mattson is going to be willing to comply with the terms of his probation. He has, in numerous court hearings in this case, made a number of what he believes are constitutional and jurisdictional arguments that have absolutely no legal merit whatsoever. And he continued to challenge the court's jurisdiction here this morning. I understand that that may be an honest belief that Mr. Mattson has.
Oh yeah, I'd bet money that this sovereign citizen would go to his grave clinging to his little fantasy world. He could have a judge, a lawyer, and even a law expert all explain the law to him, and he'd still argue using a random YouTube comment as his source. He literally has a perfect plea deal right in front of him, yet he's too stubborn or maybe too clueless to recognize that it's his best chance in court. Instead, he's over here acting like he's about to discover some hidden secret level in the legal system. Let me know in the comments whether you think this guy will actually comply with his probation terms or just crash and burn immediately.
And I don't know where it comes from, but I will say Mr. Mattson would be far better off taking legal advice from Mr. Daly than from wherever it is that you're getting it to make you believe these arguments, because as I've ruled repeatedly, there's just no merit to them. They're not rational or coherent arguments under the law. And the concern that that raises with me is that Mr. Mattson, if he does not believe this court has jurisdiction, why then would he follow the terms of his probation? And so if that's the question, then the question I have to ask myself is why would I put him on probation if there doesn't seem to be any indication that he would follow the terms of the probation? The other side of that coin is that I think a lot of this stems from Mr. Mattson's substance abuse issues, and the better way to get him help for his substance abuse issues is to put him on probation and get him into some kind of services to help him deal with that. So ultimately, Mr. Mattson, I'm going to give you a chance at probation. I hope that you are willing to comply with the requirements that are outlined in terms of your probation, which I'll read to you word for word in a moment so that you're aware of them. If you choose not to comply for the reasons you've stated or any other reasons, you can rest assured you're going to find yourself in violation of the terms of your probation. And then I am going to be imposing other penalties, meaning for you jail time. And I'll just tell you now, it'll be a short leash, because if we continue down this road, I'm already suspect of your ability to comply. So any violations are just going to confirm that for me, and you're going to find that I'm going to lose my willingness to give you a chance. So it will be the sentence of the court that you serve a period of probation for 1 year, that you serve 29 days in the Lenawee County Jail with credit for 29 days served. You must not use or possess alcoholic beverages or other intoxicants. You must not enter bars or other places where the primary purpose is to serve alcoholic beverages for drinking on site, unless the field agent has first given you written permission for your employment at a specific location. You must comply with the requirements of drug and alcohol testing as directed by the field agent. You must not attempt to submit any fraudulent or adulterated samples for testing. You must not hinder, obstruct, tamper, or otherwise interfere with the testing procedures. And you must present proper identification at the time of testing. You must pay the cost of your substance abuse testing. You must not be in possession. You must not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia unless prescribed to you by a licensed physician. And you must not be with anyone that you know to possess those items. You must complete an outpatient or residential substance abuse treatment when you are referred by the field agent. You must complete a substance abuse assessment when you are referred by the field agent. You must pay a $30 per month supervision fee, so long as there's no electronic monitoring. If electronic monitoring becomes necessary, that fee increases to $60 per month. You must also pay court costs of $750, an attorney fee of $450, a crime victim's rights fee of $130, and $68 state costs.
I'm usually an optimist about most things in life, but when it comes to a crackhead sovereign citizen, I have zero hope. I really want him to prove me wrong, like, desperately, but honestly, I'm betting all my chips that he's going to fail his drug test spectacularly. He gives off that "I swear I'm clean" energy right before the results come back glowing. On top of everything else, he's also on the hook for over $1,700 in court fees, which I'm pretty sure he considers a violation of his imaginary rights. Let me know in the comments what you think about that sentence, because I don't see this ending well for him.
Do you understand that, Mr. Mattson?
Yes, I do. Hey, Judge, I just had a couple questions, if I may, from you concerning what you just said.
All right. What's your question?
Well, if there's a crime victims fee, I'd like to know where the victim is, and also, Your Honor, you said something about the jurisdiction. If there's no problem with the jurisdiction, I mean, how come you couldn't tell me exactly which jurisdiction you're operating under? Because I would have to object to what you said. I mean, it don't make no sense to me, Your Honor.
I told you that before, Mr. Mattson. I'll tell you again. I'm operating under the jurisdiction of the Michigan Constitution that sets forth the fact that the state has various circuit courts. I'm the judge of one of those circuit courts, that one being where you are alleged to have committed this crime and where you pled guilty to this crime. As far as the crime victims' rights fee, that is assessed in every case where there is a guilty plea or verdict. That is done pursuant to statute that was enacted by the Michigan legislature, and it is required to be imposed here. So that is why I did it.
Let me know in the comments if you think this so-called genius sovereign citizen is actually going to beat this case by somehow completing probation. I'll be keeping track of your votes down there, so don't hold back at all. Honestly, this guy is a truly special case, not even the special your mom says you are. I swear I lost at least 13 brain cells just watching this hearing, and now I've got a full-blown headache trying to process what I witnessed. Still, I hope you all enjoyed this train wreck, because I definitely did, in the most painful way possible. And if there's a part 2 to this courtroom disaster, you know I'll post it ASAP. In the meantime, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your thoughts about this sovereign citizen in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Take care, everyone.